So we can take a look at maybe Colin, if you want to talk a little bit about what's going on here.
Yeah.
Events.
Yeah, there's some events in the area. So.
Just a few.
So let's talk about just some of the events, maybe some of the ones that stand out to you.
Yeah, so obviously there's a lot of stuff going on this map. A lot of these things are kind of just ideas that we've thrown out so far. Some of the ideas you guys come up with today may end up changing the things that we do in this map. But conceptually, some of the big things going on, down in the southwest corner of the map, you've got the Orient Undead that are starting to push their way up. And you have a number of fortresses along that area and small
You want to go
outposts.
ahead and go over and point stuff out?
Yeah. So
Whose fortresses?
we have the forces of the Vigil, which is one of the player organizations, that are scattered along these areas, and they're basically building locations to try to hold the Orient Undead back. So you've got a bunch of event chains where the Orient Undead are coming up and they're attacking these locations. They're trying to overrun them. You get to defend them. If you fail to do that, the Orient Undead conquer them, and then they move up and they come out to the next spot, and they basically push their way up along this river, trying to take over all the Vigil spots. When all of them are lost, you get to push all the way back down. There are some events to help the Vigil build super weapons to defend their forts. So, for example, at one of these, they build a giant golem that marches out and starts helping defend the area. It's important to note that the Vigil are made up of people of all the races. So you see a lot of the technology combined together between all of them. So you have Asura as part of the Vigil who helped build these golems. You have super cannons that a couple of the races work together to build, where you have the Char and the Asura trying to build a cannon to defend one of these forts. So that's kind of what's going on down here.
Do you have to let them push you all the way back before you can start pushing back down again, or is
No.
it?
That's an important part of the event chains. Is all of this stuff is sort of running simultaneously. So you might have they come and they attack. This is, some of the names on these are kind of silly. They're not actually really names, but this defend event was named the Battle of Evermore for some reason. And so if you fail to defend this location, they'll come up and they'll start attacking the ruins that the Vigil have reinforced up here. You also get an event to liberate this location as well that's going simultaneously. So you can get behind their battle lines and you can take out the spot that they're coming from, or you can help defend this location. If you've got multiple groups of players there, you guys can split up and figure out some tactics how you want to do both of these events at the same time.
Very cool.
So some other stuff that's going on. Down here in the southeast corner of the map, we have a crate city that's in the middle of this lake. It's a huge crate city where they keep a lot of the slaves that Eric and Jeff were talking about. And we have hidden back here in a little passage, we have a giant Quaggan village, where the Quaggan are hiding in the crate and trying to eke out their survival. And there's a lot of events tied to the crate coming in and trying to kidnap Quaggan and bring them back and sacrifice them. If they're able to sacrifice the Quaggan, they use them for a dark ritual that kicks off a giant weather system in this area. It actually causes a big maelstrom that goes around the lake, and it starts causing problems for everybody around here. So there's actually some Hylic that live up here. The maelstrom comes in and starts smashing through the Hylic cities. It causes problems for the Quaggan. So there's some really cool stuff with that event going on down there. We have the Great Ooh is up here, as we were talking about earlier. So we have some the statues right around here, and we have Brawl around that area. And we have another player organization, the Order of Whispers, that is trying to figure out what's going on with the Grawl. The Order of Whispers' big thing is they're kind of the covert spies, and they're secretly operating out of a cave up here, and they're trying to figure out what in the world is going on with this Grawl tribe that's causing all these problems in this area. Because the great voice in the statue is telling the Grawl to go do really bad things. So that's a little bit of what's going on over here. Up here we have Norn and Sylvari, and they're really just kind of meeting each other for the first time. And so we get to see a lot of the interactions of the Norn are trying to figure out who the Sylvari are. The Norn like to challenge the Sylvari to do interesting things and then stand back and watch them go do them. So they're maybe like a bunch of beehives hanging from trees, and they'll tell the Sylvari, hey, you should go hit those beehives and see what happens. And the Sylvari are like, well, that sounds like a fun adventure. We're going to go check that out. And so they go interact with this stuff. So there's a lot going on there where you see the Sylvari learning about the Norn, and the Norn learning a lot about the Sylvari and interacting together. Yeah.
You guys didn't say much about the Hylic. Are the enemies friendly?
So they actually are both in Guild Wars 2, depending on what kind of tribe they are. Jeff, do you want to talk a little bit more about
Sure, the
that?
Hylic are descendants of our frog-like Hecate that we have. They were one of the tribe names back then, and we've expanded it out for the entire group. They are, bipedal frogs. They have a tribal culture. I think they're a little bit ahead of the Grawl, particularly on alchemy and potions. They function in a way that, as you mentioned, that they can be good guys or bad guys, depending upon the situation.
Yeah, I remember seeing one in Ghost of Ascalon as a Vigil Crusade.
Yeah,
so I was just
exactly.
wondering.
One of the themes in Guild Wars 2 is that there aren't a lot. You know, when Jeff mentioned that the crate were just reprehensible, there was nothing good about them. We have some races like that. We have some races that are like the Quaggan that are just always friendly.
Right.
We have a lot of races that are situationally friendly. The Skrit are sometimes your enemies and sometimes they're your friend. Same with the Hylek. It happens with all of them. What we wanted to do is really push the idea that the world has consequences and changes and things
Right.
like that. So
So you can bring people over to your side. And I see a couple of those events look like they're dredge related as well.
Yeah, we also have some dredge up here.
Do you guys
at the
remember
top
the
of
dredge?
Our naked mole rats?
Yeah.
Yes. So this is as far south as the dredge go. This is right at the southern edge of the Shiver Peaks. And they have a lot of mining operations down in here. And some of the event chains that are going on in there is, there's a Norn Lodge that's right up in here. And the dredge are mining and tearing apart this mountain right next to the Norn Lodge. And as a result, it's causing avalanches and crushing the Norn's house and causing a lot of problems in there. So you get to go in and you get to help the Norn deal with the dredge and go down and destroy their mining machines, raid their base and try to take the dredge out.
One of the things for the dredge is that the dwarves have left the Shiver Peaks, and as a result, they've gone underground to fight the minions of the Primordius, and their land is abandoned, and the dredge have moved in, and they consider themselves to be the true heirs to the dwarves, and anything that was dwarvish is theirs.
And now anything that's near what was Dwarvish is theirs.
Is
So they're
theirs.
starting
They're
to
a little
spread out.
expansionist.
They're also very xenophobic.
Yes.
And anyone who gets near any territory that they believe is theirs, they believe that those people are going to try to enslave them, and they freak out about that, and they try to kill them as fast as they can and get them out.
And that comes out of dredge heritage. I mean, they were enslaved people, and now they tend to react that way. The other cool thing about the dredge is they have a lot of sound-based weaponry.
any other big cool parts?
I think that's the really big stuff. There's a lot of options here where we can pick out
We've got a
spots
whole
on the
bunch of
map
races in
that
this
are
area.
empty, and we can put stuff there if we want.
So, do we want to, let's pick a general area that we want our event chain to be in then. So, you want to do that the way we did it before, maybe? Okay, let's
What's our
just, let's narrow it down to just quarters of the map, okay?